Yeah, I thought we were ready to go. I thought um, we've practiced well, and I think our attention to detail on the things that are going to help us going forward is where it needs to be, and I think you see the result. We had too many turnovers. I thought it was kind of a weird game because we shot it really well, but we had a lot of empty possessions too. But probably too many, probably 20 to 25% of our possessions we kind of just got greedy. But like on our other ones, we were really good, and we made shots. Molly, I'm happy that she made shots because if she can play like that, that makes a huge difference for us. And we got off to good starts in each of the quarters. I think that was helpful. And we've tried to do some different things defensively. I think it worked. We got a little lucky that they didn't make any threes because they certainly had a few open ones. But I like where our defense is because I think that's something that's sustainable and carry forward. And then, like I said, we kind of traded offensively. We shot it really well, but we got to be a little cleaner with the basketball. But really good win over a really good team. We've got a lot of momentum now, and we got to carry it over. We got a chance to win 3 games in 1 week, and but we've got a good Butler team, a much more competitive Butler team, who will be tough at home on Saturday.
Open the floor to questions for student athletes.
Yeah, for Lauren and Molly, how did you guys adjust to their pressure? It seemed like the typical passes weren't as easy to connect tonight, but despite the turnovers, you were able to generate some high-quality offense for most of the night, too.
Yeah, I guess for me, just kind of slowing down. I had more turnovers than I would usually like to have in the first half, and so just kind of slowing down. I feel like they're kind of in the passing lanes a little bit and kind of playing their length. So just kind of slowing down and making the easy pass.
Yeah, just going off of that, I think it's nice to have multiple ball handlers out on the floor. Even our bigs can handle the ball, like Emma and Carly, bringing the ball up the court. So I think that, it takes a little bit of pressure off of us. But, yeah.
Lauren, for you, how has your confidence evolved? I feel like you're calling your number a little bit more and just look more confident for mid-range especially.
I definitely have more confidence this season. Last year I feel like I was more of a 3-point shooter. I could put it on the floor, but this year I've put it on the floor more, and I definitely feel more confident this year.
At the beginning of the third quarter, they put a little more full court pressure on you, but you guys really thrived in that situation. Is that something you guys worked on, or were you kind of expecting that at some point in the game?
Yeah, we worked on that in practice. We have the guys come in and, they pressure us a lot, and Flan makes sure that they do that in practice. So I think it transferred over.
How's the switch-up going with Lauren initiating more and you playing off the ball more? How's that going?
I think it's going good. I think it definitely helps that I can play on the ball and she can also play off the ball. It gives us more looks, and like today, Molly also played on the ball more than she did last game, I feel like, and so it definitely helps to be able to play to both our strengths in that area.
Do you see anything as the advantages there in being versatile with who initiates and who sets screens and who cuts? Do you see any benefit there in terms of how hard it is to guard, I guess?
Yeah, I think with Lauren playing on the ball, they usually put their best defender on her. So, just getting into looks earlier and being able to cut and get them a little bit more open, playing off the ball, just being able to focus on getting them open or, making unsacrificial cuts or catches and stuff like that. So.
How about communication from all of you guys, and how have you seen that evolve, especially from the UConn game up to now?
I think that's been most of the spark for how we've been playing recently. I think that's how the game started today, especially to just getting out on defense and coming out with intensity. We play together now, and we know where everyone's at, so I think that helps us win games.
They were able to turn you over a lot in the second quarter, got the lead down to 4, and you kind of got see in their defense that allowed you to?
Yeah, I think in the first half we were kind of forcing things, or I was forcing things. We weren't playing to their weakest defenders and not moving. So once we did that and we started to play more unselfish, we got easier, better looks and got some momentum.
I guess historically speaking, Marquette and Seton Hall have kind of been Creighton's rivals. You started smiling right away. Creighton's rivals in the Big East. How good does it feel from just stabilizing yourselves a little bit too, from the funk you were in terms of results, to put it onto your rivals and kind of use it as a building block?
Yeah, it definitely feels good. You know, Seton Hall and Marquette are two really good teams, and they're also tough teams. You know, they like to get up and pressure and play hard. And, you know, coming off of a loss to Providence and kind of a rough stretch in December, it definitely felt good to bounce back and fight back.
Any further questions for the student athletes?
Yes. To Flynn's point about the defensive adjustments, allowing you guys to be a little bit more instinctual as opposed to A, B, C, D, scout report specific, what changes have you noticed in the level of play on that end of the floor because of that adjustment?
I think our intensity has just grown. I think, yeah, I mean, before in that stretch, we were thinking too much. You know, we just weren't going out there and playing basketball like we know how to play. And I think just taking a little bit of that away helps us to just go out there and play like we're also competitive, and just being able to go out there and do what we do helps a lot.
How do you guys like the new uniforms?
Love it.
Good, good start.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Burned it on the uniform question. Stupid.
Open floor to questions, Coach Laren.
I know it's only 2 games, but what you've seen and what you're likely to see on film from this one, how different do you feel, or I guess how much better do you feel about the defense on the floor, allowing instinct to kind of take over more than just the thought process a little bit?
Yeah, we've simplified a little bit, and you know, but I don't know that we're going to be able to do that every game. I mean, some of it has to do with personnel. I mean, we felt like we could switch a lot with Seton Hall and basically help off one player, and it's kind of the same thing with Marquette. So I mean, it may not all carry over, but I think it gives us a blueprint for some games for sure. I mean, I think, I think it just, you know, our communication has gotten a little better. It still could get better, and we got bailed out in transition defense a few times. I mean, I don't think we were, you know, I'd give us maybe a B for transition defense, but they didn't make us pay as much as probably, but they did get a few more transition opportunities probably than we'd like, and I'll probably see that on film. But yeah, I definitely think there are some things that are sustainable on defense, and you know, and we did a good job on the defensive glass again. And that's important. I mean, like I've said, we're probably not going to be an elite rebounding team, but we need to be good, and I think we've made a little bit of a jump in the last 2 games there.
And I mean, you guys probably had about 11 turnovers first half.
Yeah.
And then they come out, try to pressure you
Mm-hmm.
93 feet in the second half. And I think you scored 22 points in the first
Yeah.
6 minutes of the third quarter. I mean, what did you feel like you did so well, and was that as good of a stretch as you played?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I thought the 3 that Morgan hit, you know, the way we ended the first half was big, and to hit a 3 to go up 12, and then to come out and I think we hit a 3 to start, or 2 to start the second half. You know, so the game went from probably about a 3-possession game with a couple minutes left in the half to, 14 right away in that second half. And I think that helped our confidence. I think, just like Lauren and Molly alluded to, I mean, having multiple ball handlers, but Emma's a huge piece of that too. Like you saw how much we put the ball in her hands today. We wanted to play through her because we felt like they've got good, their guard defenders are pretty, they're deep at the guard and wing, and I think they're pretty committed to guarding, but we felt like Emma gives us kind of that default ball handler that is hard for opposing teams to match up with, and I thought she was really key. I mean, we had her we had Lauren take it out against the press and Emma catch, and just her decision making, I think, is good. And then Morgan got hot. I mean, in that third quarter, I mean, we shot it really well, but to your point, like if we don't take care of the ball and get it into the scoring area, you don't make those shots. But I thought we had by far our best possessions too. Even when we weren't bringing it up, I thought we had our best half-court possessions in that third quarter. I mean, we had cut layups, and we weren't putting the ball on the floor quite as early. We did a better job of reversing the ball. Because I do think there were times tonight where we kept the ball on one side too much and we dribbled too much. I mean, we got to get back. Our freshmen are, they got to learn that, against a team but it's a good learning experience, right? Against a team like Seton Hall that's handsy and physical defensively, it's, that's going to help them. But we've got to, with that starting group, I thought they were really sound with the ball in that third quarter and scored in a lot of ways, off threes, off cuts, off transition, out of the press. So that was neat to see.
What do you think the biggest difference is between this team during that losing skid versus right now? Maybe something we don't really see on the court either.
I think the Providence game was a little bit of a reckoning, maybe. I mean, I think there's a little bit more losing to Arkansas, really good, top 25 team. Losing to Stanford, losing to UConn. I mean, those teams are probably, potentially going to be in the Final Four. So I think you have a little bit of an out when you lose if you're a player and a coach. You can kind of dismiss some things, and it's kind of like when we use our practice guys and. Well, they're quicker, and the turnovers and the mistakes are a reflection of they're being a little bit more athletic. And I think when you, and again, not to discredit Providence, but like when you lose a game like that on your home court, I think even like I said, it's not just the players being more reflective about that; it's the coaches being reflective. And to what Matt said about we've tried to simplify some things defensively, but get them to play even harder, and I think that's helped. And so I think there's a reflective piece that has made us more committed to that.
I know some of it is luck because it's make shot mission.
Yeah.
But Seton Hall hasn't gone over from 3 in 9 years, so some of that obviously is the way you matched up tonight. But
Yeah.
Park Lane, just bothering the shot release enough. Like, what do you guys feel like you did well in that end before to not get beat, not get burned when you took some chances inside?
Yeah, we switched a lot of actions to try to keep ball movement from, to try to prohibit ball movement, which is I think what we did against Marquette. And we felt like they put, the most, the player who's screening the most for Park Lane is Bembry, and so we decided to put Molly on Bembry because we felt like now we can, switch Molly. We kind of cross match so we could, so Molly could take switches, and then she'd have Park Lane. So instead of putting a bigger player on Bembry, where it would be a tougher switch onto Park Lane from a matchup standpoint, we were pretty intentional about that. But they also, put a lot of they have a lot of actions where they put in Park Lane and Cooks in, and that's a little bit tougher switch. But I thought for the most part, we were willing to live with Cooks making tough threes or tough twos, and she did. She's crafty, good footwork. I mean, she's really skilled, but, you know, tough twos, I thought. We did a good enough job on her, and didn't let other players get going, which I think can help because, you know, Cooks and Park Lane take about 30 shots a game, and what were they, 31 today, I guess. So that's about their average, but, you know, they just didn't get the production from others, and I think part of it was we stifled some of the ball movement with all of our switching.
How key was that to kind of not let Park Lane kind of get into a flow? Because she never really did
Yeah.
get going tonight.
No, she didn't. I mean, you know, I thought for the most part we did a good. We got lucky a couple times early, maybe even on offensive rebounds where she had an open three or two. But you know, just not letting her get that, and then not letting her get too many free throws. I mean, she scored 4 points from the free throw line, but you know, there's games where she's scoring 10 points from the free throw line. I mean, I said it's crazy. She had taken, I think, 90 more free throws than Cooks going into the game, and you look at them and you're thinking, how is she taking, you know, 5.5 times more free throws than Cooks? But it's just that's how she plays, and so yeah, I thought we did a good job of putting fresh people on her and just making her work.
Oregon's shooting 56% from three the last 4 games.
Okay, there you go.
It's not like the team she's playing against don't have length they've put on her either.
Yeah.
What do you think is the difference for her coming out of a stretch where she didn't shoot it as well from three? Anything you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think to some degree Stanford and UConn were anomalies, I hope. I mean, certainly they've got length, but I just think she's, you know, the law of averages is that she's a really good shooter. And I thought we did a better job of finding her. I mean, I thought early she needed, you know, she had cross matches and should have been posting the first. I mean, there were probably 3 times in the first quarter where I don't know why she's out on the perimeter when she, you know, they had a bad matchup on her in transition or off a switch, and she's, you know, trying to play face up instead of over the back to the basket. But other than that, after that I thought she settled in, and then they played size on her more after that. But yeah, I thought we did a good job finding her, and yeah, she's a good enough shooter. She's not going to have too many games. I think I looked, and you know, through the last game, the only 2 games she'd had under 13 points were Stanford and UConn back-to-backs. For whatever reason, she just kind of got a little sideways those 2 games, but she's been really consistent. I mean, you know, whether it's making threes or scoring out of the post. And, you know, it felt like they were probably a little bit better in the post defensively. And so she, you know, her better choice for the most part today was to be more of a face-up player.
How would you assess Lauren's facilitating? You know, just it's different, right? But
Yeah, it is.
She's been able to make plays off the bounce for other people, not just herself.
Yeah, I mean, I think other than a couple times where she just kind of got greedy early with over dribbling, you know, you see she had 7 assists, and you know, and they put their best defender, you know, because we talked about this might be a game where we would throw Molly on the ball a little bit more just because we felt like there was enough of a gap between, you know, who would be guarding Lauren and who would be guarding Molly. So there'll be games where we'll maybe put Molly back on the ball a little bit more, or, you know, tonight we had Emma bring it up a lot just because we felt like that would alleviate pressure. And, you know, teams that pressure, if you can't pressure the ball, it makes it harder to take away those first passes. If I can pressure the ball, it makes it a lot easier to take away that first pass. And they couldn't pressure Emma consistently, so I just think it allows the ball to start moving, and once the ball starts moving, then I think our offense is good. It's when it sticks at the beginning of the possession. You know, those first 10, 12 seconds, if it sticks, then we're a lot easier to guard.
I want to make sure I word this properly so you